If I could add on to that, I think Jane summed it up best. But what we undertook in New York, and I think a lot of people thought was impossible, was literally bringing the lawsuit on behalf of Nassau and Suffolk County. And we were joined by the state later after we had already done quite a bit of work. But we took on everybody in one trial, which hasn't happened yet. It's been more piecemeal. Manufacturers, distributors, pharmacies. We chose to take them all on at once. And this was a 7-month grueling undertaking where we were able to obtain with the assistance on the national level, where we all worked together, over 1.8 billion in resolution for the state and the counties. But there were certain defendants that refused to take responsibility, and the jury today spoke. They are all responsible.
Hunter, maybe if you want to start with this, what does it mean for the rest of the counties in New York State that Nassau and Suffolk kind of took this on, and what can they expect as a result?
Well, the rest of the counties will be able to enjoy the benefits of a verdict against these defendants, one of whom was ANDA, which was taking the position they shouldn't even be in the case. Every one of the other counties are going to be relying on that verdict and ultimately be able to obtain judgments of their own against these defendants. And we hope, and I hope I could speak for Jane, we hope that this will lead to not only a statewide settlement, but a national settlement against these defendants who have not taken responsibility yet. If I could add something to this, what I think is very important about this jury verdict, and I don't want anyone to be confused. As you saw, that the jury said that the various distributors, as well as other manufacturers like Purdue, were not at fault. What's important here is this was the defendants in our case trying to prove that other defendants were at fault. And ultimately, what played out in the courtroom is that these manufacturers and these distributors were in business with these other defendants, and the jury was not going to let them blame the other parties that were no longer in the case for their conduct. And that's a very important point that I think has to be made clear, because there's no question companies like Purdue and the distributors and the other manufacturers had a lot of fault in this problem, or in this epidemic. To follow up on that, I think it's safe to say, to clean up the mess of this epidemic, the mess that was caused in the state of New York, in Nassau County, in Suffolk County, and the whole state. We're talking, you're talking tens of billions, possibly hundreds of billions of dollars, which they're at fault and they may be responsible for. The issue here is they're selling, I think they try to say they're selling legal products. The only problem is they're selling them illegally. And they've got to face that fact and stop trying to argue that what they've been doing is right. The jury saw that everything they've been doing is wrong, and it's got to stop now. I would just like to follow up what Jane said. Of course, winning a verdict on behalf of our counties, as well as alongside the state of New York, is as important as, it's a pinnacle of our careers. We did everything and we won this case. But what's really important and what really should be understood is the amount of information that we got out in this trial was vast. Videos of sales meetings where they laughed and they joked about the use of drugs like fentanyl that kill people, and how they owned the market and they made the markets. This is what people need to see. This is what the public needs to see. And these companies need to look at themselves and say, this is not right. We're not selling vitamins, we're selling fentanyl. We're selling drugs that kill, that addict people. And now let the public see these things, like the videos and the commentaries and the jokes they make about it inside their company's closed doors. Now those doors are open and the people are going to see it. And when juries see it, this is what happens. I mean, this is what happens.